Hello everyone, welcome to MES e-learning channel. Today we'll be learning about business communication, and the chapter which we are going to learn about is methods of communication. So let us just learn about what is communication, right? Communication is basically exchange of your ideas, your thoughts, your opinions, right? In today's world, communication plays a vital role in everybody's life. We all know that without communication we cannot survive, right? It doesn't help us to communicate only within ourselves or within the environment or within the family or our workplace, or if you're studying then in your college, but socially also communication has really become very important. So it is very important for us to have good communication skills and to learn through communication and how to communicate with people, right? So today we are going to learn about the methods of communication. The first thing we'll be learning about is we have basically two methods over here. One is verbal communication and the other one is non-verbal communication. Now verbal communication basically means the use of your words, right, or some written language. So we have in verbal communication, we have oral communication and we do have written communication also. Now very important, why is verbal communication used? Now verbal communication is generally used everywhere, right? Whether you are talking with your friends, your teacher is teaching you, you are interacting socially with people, right? So verbal communication plays a very important role over here. It is just you can say your spoken language or your written words. This includes over here. So let us first talk about the oral communication, right? What does oral communication mean? When you're sitting in a classroom, right, the teacher is teaching, you are interacting, what is happening over there? There's a oral communication going on between you and your teacher, right? Similarly, when you're at your workplace, if your boss is talking to you, there's some meeting, there's some interaction happening between. What is happening over here? It is, the oral communication is happening over here. And you have to remember certain things over here, right? In oral communication, you really need to be very clear with your language, right? You need to be clear with your language, clear with whatever you are speaking, your words, your pronunciation, everything should be clear. The tone, the pitch which you are using, all these things are, mandatory over here. When if something goes wrong, if my pronunciation is, lacking somewhere, if I am using, a very high pitch for speaking, or my tone is becoming low, that doesn't, look good, and that doesn't count in your oral communication. Just for, the purpose of using or speaking, you do not have to do, but your communication should be effective. At the end, my conclusion should be whatever, I have spoken has reached, the receiver or not. So this would really include over here, right? So this is about the oral communication which we learned. Now let us go to written communication. Now what does written communication mean? Now earlier, you can say only the written communication methods were just, your letter writing or, your newspapers through the exchange, of your words. But right now in the modern times, we have a lot more things, right? If we talk about today's era, more of emails, your faxes are used, right? Socially, when you connect to people, that is also a form of your oral communication. Now your written communication. So whenever, you are interacting through the words, right, it is called as your written communication. Now a few things which you need to really keep in mind when you are communicating, in a written format, right? There should be no spelling mistakes, there should be no grammatical errors, your language should be clear, all the 7 C's, your consideration, your courtesy, all these things should include in your written communication, right? And we should always make sure, like even if example I am drafting some letter, right? I am the CEO, I am drafting some letter for the next general meeting which is going to happen. I should make sure each and everything is there, right? Each and everything is mentioned over there. Only then my communication will be clear. If I just write, there's a meeting tomorrow, right, only this much, what will happen? There is no clear information that when is the meeting, where is the meeting, what time the meeting is, right? What time will it be? So again, all the things should be included in your written communication. Only then the receivers, right, the people receiving the message would have that, thing that, they have been informed about it, and things are very much clear in your written communication as well. So we are done with our oral and written communication. Now let us go to non-verbal communication. Now we'll be learning about the non-verbal communication. Now what is non-verbal communication? Now non-verbal communication is, using your sign language, using your emotions, or when you just hear about the 5 senses, right? Out of that we'll just talk about seeing and smelling, right? Now just take an example. You are on a highway, right? You are in a car, and suddenly when you pass through, you can smell some, you can say koi khane ka smell aa raha hai, some good smell is coming, eating, right? Some food is being prepared, right? You automatically understand. It is not through that somewhere it is written when you are passing through the car that yahan pe ye khana ban raha hai, this food is being prepared. No. Over here, what you are understanding is through your smell, right? So this is basically an example of your non-verbal communication. Now, non-verbal communication, we have a few things over here. First, let us just talk about your body language. Now, when you talk about body language, right, we always say that whenever we go somewhere, our body language should be very apt, right? What does this mean, right? Just take an example. I am going for an interview. My shoulders are hunched like this, right? I'm giving the interview. How would it look, right? That wouldn't look good at all. Why? Because whenever you're going for an interview, you should be very, very, very confident enough, right? In talking, in walking, right? Only then, though even if you don't know something or you feel that, you're lacking somewhere, that is perfectly fine. But from your facial expressions, your body language should be very clear, right? The opponent person shouldn't know that you are nervous, or, from inside you are feeling, a little bit of nervousness is there within you, right? This thing shouldn't come up, right? So again, your body language. When you talk about, the next is your dress and grooming. Now, when you talk about your dress and grooming, right? Even if, again, just take an example that you are going for an interview, right? You are super smart and you have, received a lot of awards before, or, you are having some, you can say, amazing courses which you have done in your past, but you just walk on over there with your unironed clothes, right? Your clothes are not ironed, right? Even though you are a smarty over there walking in, right, they wouldn't consider you. Why? Because we always say that first impression is the last impression. Yes, very important. Whenever you go for an interview or at your job place, right, your workplace, your dressing matters a lot. That doesn't mean that, you need to wear expensive clothes, or you need to wear some very good branded clothes, but the apt clothes which you really need to go for, to visit your workplace, or whenever you go for an interview, your clothes should be ironed, right? You do not have to wear too much jazzy clothes over there, right? Wear simple, solid colors. You need to have proper socks you should wear. Your shoes should be polished, right? You cannot just go into, boys and men in, big beard and all, right? You need to have a proper haircut. Simple, elegant perfume you should, use. Do not just try to use बहुत ज़्यादा perfume मार के गए, no, right? Again, from your head to your toe, you should be perfect in your dressing, right? So again, dress also matters a lot. That is your dress and grooming. The next thing is your posture, right? Very important. Your postures also should be good enough, right? Whenever you're giving your presentation, right, just don't jumble like this, right? This shows that you're not confident. This sign shows that you're not confident enough. So your posture, your shoulders should be straight, your back, whenever you're sitting also, you don't have to sit hunched like this, right? Your shoulders should also, be broad enough. You should sit like this, right? Straight. And obviously after your posture, the next thing is your touch. Now, how does touch become a part of your non-verbal communication? touch basically means, you know, it shows your emotions, right? Example, if I would tell you that somebody is, you know, has scored very good marks, right? I'll just give him a pat on his back without talking anything, right? I'll just give him a pat on his back. Somebody giving you pat on your back, that means in Hindi we use the word shabashi, right? This basically means that, you know, you are giving a pat because he has done something good. Similarly, if you are, you know, just sitting with your friends and, you know, somebody is very sad, you just put your hand on that particular friend's hand. What does that feel? That, okay, it gives a thing that, you know, you don't worry, or, you know, that gives a touch of feeling, you know, you can say a touch of that particular feeling called as, you know, being supportive during that time. So your touch is very important, right? So whenever you see if somebody is, you know, is giving an interview, and, you know, when the interview is good, the interviewer will just, you know, pat, you know, on the back of the interview that well done, right? Again, this, you know, gives a kind of motivation. So your touch also is a part of your non-verbal communication. And the last thing we'll be learning is about your sign and signals. Now, sign and signals, if you all might have heard about, you know, the deaf and dumb people, they do not understand through the language. They cannot speak, they cannot hear. What do? They use the sign language, right? They use their hands, they use some kind of, you know, hand gestures jo unke hote, that would really help them out to communicate. And similarly, when you talk about this signals, right, just take the example of your sign language. Whenever you are walking, right, if you see some, you know, just whenever you see an arrow given, you know, upwards like this, right, what does this basically mean, right? Just move straight, right? And if some sign is given like this, right, this shows you the sign of no parking. That board isn't speaking that you cannot park over here, you cannot park your car over here, but what is it telling you? That you cannot park your car. Why? Because, you know, you have been seeing all these things. Similarly, when you see the traffic signal and you are, you know, on your bike, whenever you see that red signal on, what would you do? Is that signal speaking, do not cross the road? No. But you can understand from that signal that you are not supposed to move ahead, and you just have to stop then and there, right? So this was our session all about the methods of communication. Thank you so much.